Hi, I'm Calvin Rose, and welcome to Market Minute. Please hit the like, subscribe, and notification icons so you'll never miss one of our upcoming market reviews. What a crazy week. I mean, this was a wild week, but it ended very nicely. 75 plus degrees here in eastern Pennsylvania, and the markets were up. Let's take a look and see what happened. As you can see from these close prices, equities closed up very nicely today. All the major indices were up big. But on the other side, where everybody's been throwing their money into gold for safety, you can see that it dropped over 1%. This is a good sign for equities, and hopefully this trend continues going forward. Now let's look at the price action on the 20-year Treasury bond ETF, TLT. As you can see, TLT went up a lot today. Normally it doesn't move up this much in a single day, but it did today. So it's interesting. All the inflation scare and the talk of the Fed increasing interest rates probably got a little bit ahead of itself, and this was kind of a correction here, or an adjustment to recognize that they're not going to raise rates eight times, probably more like 7 times. But this was great. Happy that interest rates dropped today, and maybe the inflation scare will start to go away a little bit. If we look at the price action on cryptocurrencies today, again, a very good day. You can see almost all of these were up, and some of them were up 10, 20, almost 20% for Avalanche and 15% for Ethereum. Very good day for cryptos. So where does that leave us? Where do we stand relative to a week ago on Friday, March 11th, when I produced a video talking about what I was seeing in the markets? Well, a week ago on Friday, equity market risk was very high. But where are we today? Market risk has moved to low. This is in the right direction. Very happy about this. Let's take a look at gold risk. Gold risk a week ago was low, and if you remember from my video, I talked about the fact that the price of gold looked like it had seen better days and that it was coming into a higher risk period. Well, that in fact happened. Gold risk today is high. Now, there's no guarantee that either one of these can't flip over the coming week or so, but let's hope it keeps moving in this direction. This is good for all equity investors if this keeps up. Let's take a look at interest rates. Interest rates a week ago were at high risk. Now, based on the recent action, they're at very low risk, but again, this could flip the other way. We'll see what happens next week. And then cryptocurrencies a week ago were at very high risk, and now today they're at very low risk. They have moved up very nicely, and the indicators look very good. And now for you data nerds, I'm going to dive into the graphs, dive into the metrics, and let's talk about why I'm making these calls on the risk in the markets, the various markets, equities, gold, interest rates, and cryptocurrencies. First, let's look at the metrics for the S&P 500, or the ETF SPY. As you can see, the 2-month price trend has been clearly down, where it bottomed out here around the 14th of March and has continued up nicely since then. So if we look at the 5-day chart here, the buying pressure has been increasing here, and in fact it crossed above the selling pressure. So the buying pressure is the gray solid line. The selling pressure, the orange solid line, has dropped off dramatically here and is now below the buying pressure. This is good for equities going forward. Now let's look at the 10-day. Not quite there yet, but the longer you go out, the more days we go out, the more laggy it is, if you will. And the 20-day hasn't crossed yet. Hopefully it will next week. And then the sum of the charts is very close to crossing. So, by the time the 20-day chart, and sometimes the sum of the chart, but not always, but certainly the 20-day chart tends to happen anywhere from 3 to 7 trading days past the event. So, but the 5-day chart is very timely. Let's hope it continues. Now, just for the heck of it, let's look at the NASDAQ 100 as well. Again, the 2-month trend line down, bottomed out back here, and has gone up very, very nicely here. And as you can see, the selling pressure, the orange line, has dropped off very quickly here and crossed below the buying pressure. Good sign. Let's take a look at the 10-day. 10-day looks very good. This could cross early next week if this continues. 20-day, again, moving in the right direction. And the sum of the chart almost ready to cross. This is very good for equities. And oftentimes, the NASDAQ 100 can be a leading indicator for the rest of the market. Now let's take a look at gold. So gold, back here on Friday the 11th or so, I was talking about how it looked like it might be getting a little bit stale and a little bit in trouble. The selling pressure was starting to rise and the buying pressure was starting to dip. Well, you can see what's happened here. The selling pressure has increased. The buying pressure has really dropped here. And in fact, they kind of went back and forth here a little bit, but eventually crossed. And now the selling pressure is higher and moving higher. This is not a good sign for gold, but hopefully a good sign for equities. Now on the 10-day chart, they have a long way to go here before they cross. The 20-day chart, still a long way to go. And the sum chart, a ways to go here. So we'll see what happens next week. You know, obviously this could turn and go the other way, and equities could turn and go the other way, but these are good signs for equities so far. Now let's take a look at interest rates. So back on Friday the 11th or so, somewhere in here, I talked about the fact that interest rates were looking like they were in trouble because the selling pressure is increasing here. And you can see that the price of TLT dropped, which happens when interest rates go up. So what's happened? Well, the selling pressure peaked out back here where TLT bottomed, and now it has started to drop. So the selling pressure is dropping, the buying pressure is increasing, and the price of TLT is starting to go up. Now that's not much of a rally, but we'll see what happens with this next week. Let's take a look at the 10-day. The 10-day, these have almost crossed, moving in the right direction. 20-day, the 20-day is, the buying pressure is well above the selling pressure and has been for quite a while. And then the sum of the charts, they have crossed here. So this is all good for the price of TLT. We'll see what happens next week. Finally, let's take a look at cryptocurrencies. How are they looking? Well, if we go back to the 11th, back here somewhere, let's see, right here. So if we go back here and take a look at the 11th, I talked about cryptocurrencies being at very high risk. The buying pressure was below the selling pressure, so the orange line is the selling pressure. They took a dip here, and then the selling pressure increased. But I was amazed at how cryptos held up. Their price action held up pretty well here. They kind of went sideways as this. In fact, they were going up as the selling pressure was increasing here. But the selling pressure finally broke. The buying pressure started to increase, and you can see the price has continued going higher. So this is very good for cryptos. Let's take a look at the 10-day chart. Again, buying pressure above selling pressure. Excellent. Let's take a look at the 20-day. Both of them moving in the right direction here. This is very encouraging. And the sum of the chart has crossed. So hopefully cryptos will have a nice rally here. It's been quite a while since they've had a good upward move, but we'll see what happens. I'm Calvin Rose, and have a great weekend. The weather's beautiful outside. Thank you for watching today, and if you like this video, please like, subscribe, and hit the notification icon. That's all for now.